You're doing this wrong, and it's not your fault. You think you're choosing emotionally unavailable people, but something deeper is doing the choosing for you. What looks like bad luck in love is really a hidden emotional pattern directing who you feel chemistry with. The truth is, you're not just drawn to avoidance by chance. Your nervous system recognizes them before your mind does. The uncomfortable truth nobody talks about. If you're reading this, you're probably a magnet for avoidant partners. And it's not because you're desperate or damaged. It's the opposite. You're deeply empathetic, emotionally aware, and capable of profound intimacy. You radiate emotional availability that signals, I can handle your emotions. I won't run. You see beneath someone's walls and believe in their potential for love. Avoidants move through life emotionally armored, terrified of intimacy, but secretly craving it. When you show up with your depth and warmth, their walls start to shake. But here's the twist. This attraction isn't healthy. It's like two magnets locking together perfectly, creating a cycle of pursuit and withdrawal that leave you exhausted, confused, and questioning your worth. Why this pattern feels magnetic. Research from the University of Toronto shows that attachment styles unconsciously shape who we find attractive. Your brain looks for people who feel familiar, not necessarily people who are good for you. If closeness felt uncertain growing up, people who seem distant now secretly feel safe, because your body already knows how to manage that emotional dance. You're drawn to avoidance because they present a challenge wrapped in mystery. You sense their hidden pain, unmet childhood needs, and enormous capacity for love. Instead of being scared off by their walls, you lean in. You feel a magnetic pull to be the person who finally makes them feel safe enough to open up. But what's really happening is a subconscious dance. Your nervous system is wired to pursue, to prove your worth through emotional labor, and to find validation in winning over someone hard to reach. Deep down, this dynamic feels familiar, even if you don't consciously recognize it. The childhood wound connection. Most people who attract avoidance grew up having to chase emotional connection. Maybe love in your childhood came with conditions, or you had to stay alert, predicting moods. Your body learned that love requires effort, uncertainty, and fear. So when someone feels slightly out of reach, part of you lights up, not because it's healthy, but because it's known. Avoidants often carry opposite conditioning. They grew up in homes where vulnerability was ignored, minimized, or punished. They learn to feel safe only when not depending on anyone emotionally. When they meet someone warm and attentive, their nervous system registers as pressure, not comfort. Both of you are replaying the same story with different roles. You chase to prove love is worth it. They run to prove closeness is dangerous. That's why this feels magnetic. It's not random chemistry, it's memory. The toxic cycle. You give more, they withdraw. You explain, reassure, and try to connect while they quietly build a wall inside. The more you try to bridge the gap, the wider it feels. Before you know it, you're exhausted, doubting your worth, asking why love seems to punish the most loving hearts. This is where most people confuse intensity for intimacy. The highs and lows, brief moments of connection followed by coldness, feel like passion, but it's really emotional survival. Each small breakthrough feels huge because your heart has been starving, because avoidants are emotionally inconsistent. Even a small gesture feels enormous, keeping you hooked on breadcrumbs. The moment everything changes. Once you recognize the pattern, you stop trying to earn love from those who can't give it. You see that your sensitivity and loyalty were never the problem. The real issue was believing your love could heal someone still hiding from themselves. Avoidant partners need space not because they hate connection, but because closeness stirs up old fears of being engulfed, controlled, or abandoned. You can't fix that fear for them. It's their journey. Your job isn't to keep proving you're safe. It's to start believing you deserve safety too. Breaking free, your path forward. So, how do you actually rewire this pattern? It's not about becoming cold or closing your heart. It's about directing your love toward people who can hold it. Here are 5 transformative steps that will change everything. 5 steps to break the cycle. Step 1. Recognize attraction isn't compatibility. Just because you feel a strong pull doesn't mean they're good for you. That magnetic feeling isn't love at first sight. It's your nervous system recognizing a familiar dynamic from your past. Your body is saying, This is what love felt like growing up. But familiar doesn't equal healthy. When you notice that pull, pause. Ask yourself if this person is actually available or if you're drawn to the challenge of making them available. Step 2. Stop earning love through emotional labor. If you're constantly proving your worth by being understanding, patient, or accommodating beyond what feels balanced, that's a red flag. Love shouldn't require you to shrink your needs or overfunction emotionally. Real love is reciprocal. Think about Sarah, who texted her partner every morning with thoughtful messages, planned all their dates, and carefully navigated his moods while he barely remembered her birthday. She wasn't in a partnership. She was auditioning for a role she'd already earned. Start paying attention to how much you're giving versus receiving. If the scale is constantly tipped, you're not in a relationship. You're in a rescue mission. Step 3. Let them go when they pull away. This is hard because your instinct is to chase, fix, and reassure. But every time you chase an avoidant pulling back, you're training them that distance works. Marcus learned this the painful way. Every time his girlfriend went silent for days, he'd send longer texts, more reassurances, trying harder to fix whatever he'd done wrong. Until one day, he simply replied, "I can see you need space. I'm here when you're ready to talk." She came back. But more importantly, he discovered he could survive the silence without losing himself. Instead, when someone pulls away, let them go. Not as a game, but as a boundary. Give them space. But also give yourself permission to evaluate whether this is a relationship you want. Someone who repeatedly distances themselves is showing you who they are. Believe them. Step 4. Do your own healing work. Look at your childhood and identify where you learned that love equals effort, sacrifice, or proving yourself. Maybe you had a parent you could never quite reach, and you spent years trying to be good enough. These patterns don't disappear because you understand them intellectually. You have to actively rewire your nervous system to feel safe, receiving love, not just giving it. Therapy, somatic work, and building relationships with securely attached people all help. Step 5. Get clear on what you deserve. You deserve someone who doesn't make you guess where you stand. You deserve someone who sees your emotional intelligence as a gift, not a convenience. You deserve someone who meets your depth, vulnerability, and consistency with their own. You deserve to feel chosen, not tolerated. Write these things down. Remind yourself every time you're tempted to settle for less because someone is potential. The beautiful truth. Boundaries stop feeling like walls and start feeling like self-respect. Every time you resist the urge to chase, explain, or earn affection, you're teaching your nervous system that love shouldn't hurt. You're retraining your body to crave peace instead of tension. You can't stop avoidance from being attracted to you. Your warmth and emotional availability will always draw people in, including those not ready for what you offer. But you can stop participating in dynamics that drain you. You can stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. You can stop giving your energy to people who can't hold it. When you make this shift, something powerful happens. You stop being a magnet for broken love and start being a magnet for whole love. Avoidance might still show up, but you'll recognize the pattern faster. You'll see the red flags you used to ignore. You'll feel the familiar pull, but you won't follow it. Instead, you'll choose differently. You'll choose a person who's consistent, who communicates clearly, who doesn't make you work for basic emotional reciprocity. Your compassion isn't something people take from you. It's something they rise to meet. You'll stop being magnetized by mystery and start being moved by consistency. Your empathy was never meant to be a rescue mission. It was meant to be the language of real love. And when you protect that light, you stop attracting brokenness and start attracting people ready to love you back fully, clearly, and without fear. That choice, that boundary, that protection of your own energy is what finally breaks the cycle. And that's when everything changes.